What's going on, Jerome's? So, center Garrett Bradbury, yes, there's been jokes and there's some comments at a lot of things, and mainly it's frustration because you know that he takes a game seriously, you know he puts in the work, you know that he's got the physical tools to get things done, but it just hasn't worked out. And Bradbury's become sort of the Vikings version of like the Andy Dalton scale. Popularized by Chris Wessling, rest in power, where Andy Dalton back in the day with the Bengals was just good enough that you didn't want to move on, but wasn't good enough to really get you to where you needed to be. And it feels like that's what is going on with Garrett Bradbury at this moment in time. But we had high hopes in the sky, hopes. Pride of NC State. Go Wolfpack. Rawr. Right now, that's cat. Bark. Anyways. But yeah. Physical tools out the wazoo, but undersized. And the whole thing about the Vikings wanting to build around the outside zone scheme. So, Alex Gibbs and Gary Kubiak and Shanahan, that sort of running game. Tom Nalen, undersized offensive lineman. Oh, it's okay. We'll just cut everyone, right? Taking that lateral step along the offensive line. It's what Bradbury was meant to do, man. And his. All right, so his spider chart always looked like Batman, like in Batman Begins when he's flying over the Narrows. It's really good, man. Or, it's close enough, but it hasn't worked out. And it has and it hasn't, right? So there's definitely been some down moments, and we've definitely tried our best ever since he was a first-round pick in 2019, just trying to replace him every single opportunity. He's like, J.C. Treader and his non-existent knees. Oh, hey, Chris Reed, the pride of Mankato State. He played center once. Or, hey, Wyatt Davis could probably move to center, even though he couldn't even play guard either. Or just like, I don't know, Austin Schlutman. Jarrett Patterson, who I had a big crush on a couple years ago, ended up being a 6th-round pick by the Texans this year, and now was a backup. Okay, but he has turned things around with Chris Cooper over the last 2 years under the Kevin O'Connell regime. Respect. He is going to be 29 in June, and he is a 2019 first-round pick, number 18 overall. Back in the day, he was legitimately PFF's worst center for 3 years. Actually, maybe even 4 years. Yeah, but either way, it just was not good. 2023, 60.9 PFF grade, 22nd in the NFL, 22 pressures, 3 sacks, 9 penalties allowed. It was his best season. Right. Although the drawback is age, pushing 30, as well as he's missed games each of the last 2 seasons with a correlated back injury. And, backs, when you're playing with leverage and low man wins, ain't always good, man. It ain't good. But Bradbury's contract gets very edible after the season. Actually, he's out of guaranteed money this year, but part of his base salary this season was guaranteed on the third day of the new league year. There's no stipulation of that in 2025, so none of his base salary is guaranteed. So if the Vikings want to move on, they easily could move on in the offseason. But the problem is the whole heir apparent thing. And Kevin O'Connell and offensive line coach Chris Cooper clearly have a lot of faith in Garrett Bradbury. And Bradbury, by all accounts, even though, yes, it's hard to tell at OTAs and mandatory minicamp because there's no pads, has been looking good. Like his production calls have been crisp. He's got command of the huddle, as you would expect from a veteran, a guy who's been here since 2019. And as Bradbury goes, so goes this entire team. Bradbury legitimately is the X factor for this entire team, as we have a graphic with Blake Brandel and Dalton Reisner. But they're factors too, because it is open competition at both of the guard spots. So Brandel, Reisner, and Ed Ingram, and whoever else gets in the competition. Maybe it's a spot where if Bradbury gets competent, or at least the best of the best that the Vikings have to offer at guard around him, maybe that'll elevate his game. All right. And yes, chemistry is important. So I think that Reisner does have an inside track to starting at left guard. Maybe Brandel and Ingram compete for right guard. And hopefully Darrisaw and O'Neal stay healthy. So that will go a long way in solidifying the offensive line. But Bradbury is the linchpin. He is the X factor, because if Bradbury is able to stay healthy, knocking on all the wood, and have a good season. That means that Darnold won't have that immediate pressure in his face. That means that the running, same thing with J.J. McCarthy, if and when he does get out there. Also, if the running game is able to get things going, and it does start up front in that interior offensive line with Bradbury and 2 guards TBD, I mean, that's going to go a long way to alleviate a lot of pressure off of the shoulders of the quarterback, whether it's Darnold or McCarthy. Keep play action viable, allow them to take deep shots down the field, and get things good to go. But Bradbury is the X factor, man, and I get it. Like, coaching staff, like, they like Bradbury. He's a likable guy. He's a good leader. He's good in the locker room, and the tools are there. But maybe it's just me as a fan. Just like the last couple of years, just can't get over him getting just dump trucked by not even like mammoth nose tackles. It's not even like Dexter Lawrence every single game. Just like 295-pound dudes getting under Bradbury's pads and throwing him into the quarterback's lap. And it's just, or the running back. It's just really frustrating. But hopefully Cooper and O'Connell have found ways to minimize that, and hopefully improve guard play around Bradbury will help things out, and hopefully he can stay healthy, and hopefully we'll go from there. Because as Bradbury goes, so goes the offense. As the offense goes, so goes this entire team. So in a weird way, the success of the 2024 Vikings really does come down to how good Garrett Bradbury is going to be. And that makes me feel really good. A long time. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Garrett Bradbury is the X factor for 2024. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But next time, Skull Production Value.